Okay, quick update, but one thing that I wanted to go over with you guys real quick. When you're spraying this really heavy primer, I've got a 2 point, I think it's a 2.3. I can't read it really good. It's a primer gun. It came with two different tips, and I think it's 2.3. It's hard to see very well, but anyway, even with the larger tips, it's hard to spray that stuff. It just doesn't, it doesn't want to come out, and it's going to seem like you're not getting a lot of transfer. So one thing that you can do, number one, you can buy a lot bigger tip, which, they're expensive, and the only time you're going to need the really big tip is when you're spraying that polyester high build primer. But what you can do anyway is turn your round, your pattern screw almost all the way around, so like turn it to round and then just come off of it, and that will really put the material on. The bad thing is you're only going to be spraying narrow strips because you're close to being on round, but you'll get a lot of high transfer and you won't feel like a lot of your material is going into the air. The other thing you can do too, when you're doing that, you can turn your air pressure down quite a bit because you're transferring a lot more. This happens to be an HVLP gun, but still on the thick stuff, it doesn't transfer the greatest through these guns. So that's what you can do. The other thing I was going to mention, when you're doing down in the fog light sockets or headlight sockets, you can turn it all the way around, turn the pressure way down, and it's almost like airbrushing. Not exactly, but it kind of is, and you got a lot of control. And that way you don't have it on, a fan pattern, and you're trying to get in there and you're spraying everything around it too. So just wanted to mention that. If anybody's trying to spray the high build material and they're having problems. Probably wouldn't be a problem with the 2K because it's thinner, but the other thing I wanted to mention, number one, I use a full face mask because they're great. Keeps the paint out of your eyes, keeps dust out of your eyes. I use it while I'm sanding, while I'm painting, all the time, just to keep that crap out of my lungs. But when I'm done, I always seal it in a plastic bag. It's just a good idea. It keeps any debris off of it. So that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. But anyway, I had to spray some more on this. Right where the seam is on these that comes across here, I didn't quite get enough filler. It probably didn't need to put any more filler on it because I'm getting it with high build primer. But right where that filler section ended right here, there's just a little tiny, I'm talking a little tiny dip that wasn't, as I was sanding, I could see it wasn't fanning out. So I high built primed that again, primed that whole section. Around the headlight a little bit, I had to fill, I mentioned in my last video, there was like a pinhole right here, and I had to put a little bit there. There was a pinhole over on this side that I had to put a little bit on. So I wanted to prime over that one more time so that I could sand that again. A little bit I could see in this area that was just a little bit low. And all of that I was spraying on round, by the way, so I could really control it and not get a lot of overspray. So I'm not just wasting material because it is expensive. Where else? Right in here I had, as I was sanding, I could tell that there was just a little bit of a low. As you're sanding, you'll see that the material's not cleaning up, it's staying like it's rough sprayed. So that wasn't planing out, so there's a low there and like right in this area. And I think that's where the filler comes down, and I'm not sure, it just wasn't quite right. And then I built this up one more time. When I sanded that down this morning, it looked pretty good and was pretty smooth. My hood happened to have right in this area, it was, there's something just a little bit funny. I could feel it with my hands. So I sprayed that heavy so I can sand that and make sure that that planes out good. In this area of the fender, there was just a little tiny low spot. And when I say low spot, I really couldn't necessarily feel it. But when you're sanding it, you'll see that the primer is not sanding. And you'll see everything that's sanded. And then there's just a little bit low there, so I heavy built that. And then right in here, I could feel just something with my hands, so I heavy built that up again too, with the polyester slick sand. Everything else looks good, and even though I put some more primer on, it's pretty close. I think this is it. I should be able to sand this out with 180 grit, and then it should be. I might drop down to 220. I'm not sure, because I still have to put the 2K on it, and the 2K will cover those sand scratches. But I might go over it with like 220 and get a little bit more of the scratches out if the 180 is leaving a little bit, or I might just switch over to 220 to finish it, since I don't have to remove a ton of material. But anyway, it's coming along. I wanted to give you a quick update. That's about it. I think once I get this sanded out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm either going to tuck this off to the side to bring the excuse me, to bring the body in, or I'll take it out in the shop. I'm not sure which yet, but anyway, it's almost time to get the body in, which is really exciting. Making further progress, and this is just about done. Hopefully, probably later today or tonight, maybe I'll be able to sand on this and make sure that I'm looking good so I can get the body in. So anyway, until next time, I'll talk to you later.